And now we go to Washington. The U.S. President Barack Obama making his first speech to the joint session of Congress. His goal? Convey a positive message about America emerging from its worst economic disaster in decades. The U.S. president talked about sacrifice and emerging stronger. And for those counting, he was interrupted by applause 60 times. For more, we're joined by Solon Simmons from George Mason University. Mr. Simmons, it's been some time since you joined us on Early Edition. Welcome back. It's good to have you.
It's great to be back. Thank you.
So what was the overwhelming message? What was at the heart of this speech last night?
Well, I think you've captured it right there with the notion of an overwhelming message. This was a fantastic speech, and I think that right and left will agree on that. He did what Ronald Reagan was always able to do, which is to bring a powerful message. What this is a liberal message, what Reagan's was is a conservative message, but he's able to make it seem reasonable and like something we all ought to do. So it's a very powerful moment for Washington, for the country, because everything he said seemed reasonable. It isn't something you'd want to do in normal times, and yet these are not normal times. Very powerful, and it saves him from a trap that I was worried about, which was he going to come across more as Jimmy Carter or as Franklin Delano Roosevelt as a president, as a Democratic president? And he seems much less like Jimmy Carter and much more like FDR, which is what you would need if this really is a new Great Depression.
But was it far too ambitious? He talked about tackling the economy, health care, education, the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. Is he trying to tackle too much too quickly?
Well, it sure sounds like it, and I think many people were not able to believe and were not able to have hope before the speech, but this is what this character can do, is he can bring that hope and belief and convey it and make it seem reasonable. After the speech, it seems as if maybe this is something reasonable to do. The scale of what he's attempting may not be that much larger than the war in Iraq if thought of in financial terms. Of course, it's certainly on a comparable effort. It's in the trillions. But this is something that we all agree, I think, has to happen. Something like this has to happen, and so I think a lot of people are going to get excited about it and get behind him.
Some people, though, point out that while Mr. Obama has a lot of style, can deliver a heck of a speech, that there isn't a lot of substance there. Was this a substantive speech?
I think so. Of course, the big question is, can he do it while balancing the budget? This notion of cutting the deficit seems a little crazy in times of great spending. And yet that even seemed plausible. He seemed like he was willing to put the harsh measures in place which might get the job done, and it has to come either with entitlement spending or on the military side. It became clear he was going to go on the military side, and the metaphor for this is the presidential helicopter. Why does it cost so much money to fly this helicopter? And we saw, and he laughs it off. What makes him different than Jimmy Carter is not competence, but it's the style. And the style matters because Americans have to feel comfortable as they move through big changes, and these are going to be big changes moving ahead.
And then there was the response by Louisiana Governor Bobby Jindal, who himself, some say, may run for the presidency in 2012. What did you make of the response?
Well, Bobby Jindal's a great character as well. I think he's he's a rising star. There's something, they call this in sociology institutional isomorphism, which means you go for the same shape when you're in the same situation. And there's something about matching faces here. I think Jindal's a great character as well, but he didn't seem to be Obama-esque. He's non-white, which is important, I suppose, in this moment. But he didn't have what I would think was the stuff. And so my sense is that this notion that you might turn down the money coming from Washington, you're going to try to say no to what's going ahead right now, is very dangerous, and we'll have to watch and see if he can continue. His speech didn't convince me he was going to be the next Republican Reagan.
Mr. Simmons, don't be a stranger. Come back and join us again soon.
Okay, thank you very much for having me.
All right, take care.
Bye-bye.